page number 17. Yeah.
Page number 17. Okay.
So even though there are so many other texts which is we have to go before this text, but then in order to understand, I'm trying to make it short and I'm going to talk directly on this part which is important now. So in this text, if you look at the first line of that, where the four thoughts from mind to Dharma, the first fact is saying the Padmutu Sankara after continents, I do not taste, prostrate to the glorious Samana Buddha. Buddha is the first Buddha among the Buddha. If you look at the second page of your book, then you will see the Buddhist on the east. If you look at the center one in the concept, that is the concept. And then also if you look at the lineup, the top one is the Sange. So he considered as the first Buddha among the Buddha. And it is said that Buddha and we sentence become the same place and same time. But the son of the Buddha, who is the first Buddha among the Buddha, he recognized the true nature of mind, then he got enlightenment. But then the sentient beings, they failed to recognize the true nature of mind and then they wandered the suffering of samsara. So after that, no matter how many Buddhas come there in this world, all are his disciples. And today, in this era, this time right now is the time of H.EKhen Buddha. So H.EKhen Buddha was born in Nepal, in Lumbini. And then after that, at the age of 29, then he renounced everything and then went to India, Bodhgaya, and then he attended enlightenment there. He became a Buddha there. And then after that, he got enlightenment. Then very first time he got the will of Dharma in Sarana. And then after that, he had taught countless of teachings in different places. And if you look at his teachings, his teaching is countless, but if you put that into a category, then we can put that into two categories. So that too is one is the Hinayana or Theravada and one is Mahayana teachings. So in Theravada or Hinayana teachings, it says that the initial practice and then eliminate all kind of the negative force that we have and then liberate oneself from the suffering of samsara. That is the main teaching in Theravada. And according to Mahayana teaching, then it says that not only oneself, but then all percent of wandering in the suffering of samsara, they also don't want suffering and they also want to liberate from this suffering of samsara. So in order to liberate all the sentient beings from this suffering of samsara and to attain enlightenment or become Buddha, then they practice the Dharma, and that is what we call the Mahayana teachings or Mahayana practice. So, in a short, what is the difference between this Mahayana and Hinayana is, then it says that in Mahayana, we consider oneself as a mother of all the sentient beings and we work for all the sentient beings. We think that all the sentient beings are also equal and same as me who wants suffering, who doesn't want suffering and wants happiness. So I should not be just selfish and then work for all the sentient beings and then liberate all the sentient beings. That is what we call the Mahayana teaching. But in Hinayana teaching, it says that only for oneself, and they practice dharma to liberate oneself from the suffering of samsara and nirvana. So this is the two different groups. One, they think only liberate for oneself, and other one liberate for all the sentient beings. So this is the two difference of Hinayana and Mahayana. And so when we talk about the Mahayana, then within the Mahayana there are two different classes. One is called Sutrayana, Sutra vehicles, and then one is the Mahayana, Vajrayana or Vajra vehicles. So these times, if you look at like China and many other countries, they are practicing only Mahayana. And if you look at like Tibet and then the Himalayan areas and many other countries, they practice both Tantrayana and at the same time Sutrayana as well. So now, what is the difference between Sutrayana and Tantrayana? Is that in Sutrayana, even though the goal is same to become Buddha, but then the method that shows in Sutrayana is take a longer time to reach the other shore or Buddha land. Whereas in Vajrayana, then it says that they have the different technique or methods where then they can attain enlightenment very fastly. So if you look at in Vajrayana practice, then it says that it's depend on your capacity or understanding. Even if you are at the lower level of the capacity that you have, if you practice the Vajrayana, then it says that at least most time or most lifetime that it takes is like 16 lifetimes to attain enlightenment. Longest of years. So 16 years is like inferior level of the capacities. Now the middle level of capacities then is that the 7 lifetimes that you attain enlightenment within the 7 lifetimes. And also superior level of like the capacity is 1. Then it says that within the 3 lifetimes or within the 1 lifetime also there is the method or chance to be enlightened or to attain enlightenment. Particularly if you look at like Dzogchen or the Dzogchen or great professions teaching, that it says that they have that technique of attaining enlightenment within one lifetime. But having said that, it's not easy. Before that, we have to have like basic foundation and so many other practices that we have to go through. So now come back to this book on page number 17. Second line, it says that the laser and the endowment are extremely difficult to obtain. So what the means of this is that it says that all the precious human life that we have now is very difficult to obtain or to get it. So at this point, the lasers or the first words is said that something that you're available or something that you have the options. And then now, can you go back, go to page number 18. So here explain the available. What is the meaning of the available? So when we say that these are all available, or also other word is called the freedom. Now, from which and from where we have to get free or become free, then it says that here, if you look at page number 18, third line, it says that we have to be free from hungry spirit, suffering, and then also the hunger, thirsty, and then animal from the stability, this is the suffering, and then hell realms, and then demigod realms, and then also this God realms. So these are days like place where if you born there, then you have enough opportunity to practice the Dharma. So right now, having this precious human life means you are free from this all this kind of unfortunate realms. So today, if you look at the other animals like the ant, and then why you are not born as an ant, and if you look at other animals, then why you are not born as the other animals, and why you are a human being today, is then it says that this is the good karma you have maintain the disciplines of how your past life. Because of that, the merit that you have obtained this human life today. So because of your previous lifetimes, you have have done charity work, and then also you have maintained your vows or the disciplines that you have to do. So because of that merit, then you have obtained this precious human life.
남친이 하마 말이 법을 유라가 다르니 말라에 스마 가슴이나 부자를 했어. 이니 할라에 스마 차선이나 부자를 했어. 이게 잘.
And now, if you ask yourself, why I'm like the man and why somebody is a woman, why this man and women's like take a place? If you understand according to these teachings, especially the Tantric teachings, then it says that in a bardo or intermediate state, when you're about to reborn to other place, of course we have to reborn through our mother womb. No? So when you are about to enter into a mother womb, at that time, if the consciousness that you have, at that time, if your consciousness too much attached to your the father side, then it says that you becomes the woman's or the girl. And if you are too much attached to your mother's, then it says that you will become a man. So that is how distinguished, or that is how it takes place, according to this Buddha teaching. So since now we have opted this precious human life, then we have to live our human life very meaningful and peaceful. We should not be thinking any overdressness to others. We should not have that harmful thoughts to others. We always have to have this kind of kindness and compassionate minds or altruistic intention thoughts to others. So it's very precious that we have obtained this precious human life, which is a very lucky one. But then unfortunately, wherever we reborn, whether this into the six realms, whether you are in hell realms or Holy Ghost realms or animals or human or demigods or God realms, no matter wherever you reborn, regardless of where we born, unfortunately, we're still in this the cycle of the impermanent or uncertainty. So one day, sooner or later, we have to die. So when we have this freedom life right now, at this time, if we have done a good job, then when we die, then we don't have to worry about it. And then of course, according to that, then we will have that result, and then that result, and then death will be peaceful. Otherwise, if you don't have done any good job in this living lifetimes, then when you die, and then because of that unfortunate karma or this, the result of that, consequences of that bad karma, then of course there's no other options but you have to be born animal realms, the Holy Ghost realms, or maybe could be reborn in the hell realms as well. So look at this page number 18, first line. In English, it says that perseverance in the practice of virtuous dharma is the cause for becoming Buddha. So if you, when you are living right now, if you do some good practice at this moment, or if you do some virtuous activities, then because of that, that could become a cause to become Buddha.
여하세 간들나와서 여하세이 그나 샘진 소매져라. 이 샘진이 샘진라다 세조에 올라가는 거지.
So now
유비 저와에 마기 저와에 그냥 유비 저와에
So now, if you may think that what is the virtuous activities? So now, virtuous activities or merit activities is that we have to do through our body, speech, and mind. There is a three space, three doors that we do these activities through our body, through our speech, and through our mind.
유비 여하숨세 유비 여하를 가르치면 유비 소모지로 샘진에서 아니 얘나 저기 저기 생전하다 하시나 아주나 꾸마미네 미리 잘라 꾸마미네 얘나 저기 소소리 나보여 우리 부모마다 생각되어는 지금 이제들이 유지미가 됐어.
So now, since we have the three doors where from through where we do this, the virtuous activities, and then first it says that from your body, through your body, then we should not be killing any animals, or we should not be harming any other sentient beings. Instead of that, if you could, you should save others' life, or should not be harming for others, or taking others' life. That's one. And the second one is then not taking others' belongings without asking or without permissions, as kind of stealing or thieving. And then third one is not having some misconduct, since we have like the partner, whether it is husband or wife. Since we have already one, you should not be having affairs with someone else. So these three is the activities of the virtues through your body. And now it comes to the speech. Now through speech, then you should always speak truth, not telling a lie. And you should not be criticizing to others or using the bad words to others. You should always praise to others and say something nice words to others. And you should not be always being like middle persons to make creating the problems between two persons. Instead of that, you should always become the middle persons to bring the harmonies. And then also through your spirit, you should not be always use the harsh words to others. Don't use the bad words to others. And on top of that, then also you should not be just chatting like a worthless topics. That also create the bad karma. So you should not be like chatting the worthless topics on the worthless topic. And then also through your body, if you do like meditate, and then if you do the prostate to rituals or to the higher ones, then that is also considered as the virtues through your body. And then also you do circumambulate to the stupa or temples, or if you go like holy places, so just to visit, that is also considered as the activity, the virtuous activities through your body.
you call it in around to coming, having to share the not get shared by the now it's not yours.
So during at that time, also if you just chant the mantra, say the nice words, say the truth, also they consider as the virtuous activities of the speech.
This simply was similar to the above and the Jukia. This change is similar to simply to the
and then now the third one is the activity, virtuous activities of your mind. Then now in your mind it says that the faith that you have, and then also the renunciations, the concept that you have, and then altruistic intention of bodhicitta that you generated, or the mind of enlightenment that you generated. So, and then also visualize the deities or the deities in your mind. So these are considered as the virtuous activities of your mind. And then also at the same time, the remembering or meditating on this, the selflessness, and then meditating on this, the emptiness, also considered as the virtuous activities of mind. And then now on the page number 18 again, now second line, it says, whatever negative I create, I wander in the six realms accordingly. Page number 18, a second line. So now the second line is saying that whatever like negative karma that you do, then you will wander in the six realms accordingly, which means that what is now negative? The negative is the opposite of this, the virtuous activities, or contrast of this virtuous activities. So, if you create any negative karma, then there's no other option but we have to wander these six realms. So, anybody who doesn't know what the six realms are, doesn't raise your hand if you don't know what six realms are. Okay, three. So, thank you so much for raising your hand. So, as a general human beings that we see in these six realms, there's only two things that we see. One is human being and one is animals. Only out of these six realms, only these two categories that we are able to see.
Yeah, Sange
So, but then H.EKhen Buddha said that there are the six realms in this world that we categorize into six realms. Okay, let's start from the human beings. The first one is human realms, human form, and then after that the animal realms or animal forms, and then if you go deeper level, then it's called hungry ghost realms, and then most lower level is the hell realms. So these are four. So this top of this four, and then there are demigod realms, and then god realms. So since we have four before one, and then now above us there's demigod realms and god realms. So this is what we call six realms. So now the page number 18, like third line, it says that hungry spirit suffer from hunger and thirst the animal from stupidity.
이 다세디 아카와 사주 투유 내가 네 시에미도 네 사이 투유 내가 너무 거기에 양이 용에스 디레기 다리 사지가레스.
So now you may wonder the what that hungry ghost means, how they suffer. You know, so it says that the hungry spirits, they suffer from hunger and they're thirsty. Of course, they are not able to have this kind of the facilities, but they are not able. They don't die too. They wander in this between. They cannot die, and at the same time they don't get enough food and drinks to eat and drinks, and they suffer.
계략계 유디 가래서는 아주 세나제 세나장은 유사 소사 사마고 밀라케마고 밀라 지발 담마도 하라피마데 리지네니 세나장은 유사되거나 어디 이달게 하는
Now, what is the cause that to this they call Holy Ghost spirit or Holy Ghost realms? And then it said that if you do like greedy, if you like stingy, also you can use the words stingy or greedy. So in this life you have enough wealth, enough money, enough the support that you can do. Yet you are not really being able to do some any charity work, and then you pile up that for yourself, and you are not really being able to use that for yourself too. So because of that greedy and that stingy, and that becomes like cause of born into this Holy Spirit realms.
이 드루루몽스에디 나라 세대라들이 여와 하모고 비가 하모고 이게 이게 다 하모고 이게 삼보때 또 정말 차나 이게 드루루야.
So now, what is the cause of reborn as an animals? Then it says that in this life, you don't understand what is the good and bad. You don't know what is abundant, what should be abundant and what should drop. You don't know anything about good and bad things, and you just live your life as an animals. And because of that ignorance, then that ignorance becomes the cause to become to be born into an animal realms. And then now, if you reborn into a hell realms, then in the hell realms there are mainly the two different type of the suffering that we have to go through. One is heat and one is the cold suffering. Heat suffering and the cold suffering.
But the theory is very charisma. Somebody or Satan because you
And what is the cause of reborn into a hell realms? Then it says that in this life, that if you have like angers, very aggressive persons of anger, and because of that angers, the whatever activity that you do through that anger, that becomes the cause of reborn into a hell realms.
I mean, that is a Mila case and a Mila case on a Mila case or Mila case, Marago said the law in the Muslim forest. Ross, the Muslim, Inyam Yan, Senadi, Chava, Yovena. I mean, Doma soon, Sana, yes.
So now, what is the cause of reborn as a human beings? And then he said that, of course, like I said before, we have to take care of our vow, the discipline that we have received, the precepts that we have. That's an important one. And with that, if you have kind of the negative, but then the kind of the desire that you have, because of that desire, and then of course the merit of that, we have been maintaining that the vow that we have received, or the precept that we have received. So because of that, then you will be born as a human beings.
아무 기운이 올라 말아 보나 그래요. 가야 커버랑 되고 말 그래요. 이게 저희가 때문에 이모차 약간 나야 한번 치료해. 이제 동안도 나도 무슨 여러 가지 받아봤어.
And now, fortunately, if you born as a human being, also there is the suffering, because then human beings, of course, if you think of when you conceived into your mother womb, and there is the sufferings, and you have to remain like many months in your mother womb, and that's the suffering. And when you take a birth, like through mother womb, then also you have to go through the immense of suffering, and then after you born in this world, and then also day by day you're getting old or age, and then during that, and then you also go through so many like suffering and then disease and illness, and then at the end, of course, we all go through death. So these are the suffering of human beings.
이게 가지가 아마라 아민 탑도 하이도 말이지. 아마인 세지를 아마인 불라도 예 미리까지나 아주 여와야 돼. 좀 한세로 때 타고지. 이제 저번에 지기와 여와 도에 뭐라 타도 저래나 이들도 아마인 때라니 한데가 밥을 먹어. 밥을 쓰는 기술을 나가니 그런 나와야 밥이 기술을 세 뿌려가 그냥 밥을 그냥 타도 지는 이제 가만
now the fifth one, and then it says that the demigod realms. Now, what is the cause of reborn into a demigod realms? Then it says that during these lifetimes, of course, we have done the merit activities. We have accumulated a lot of merit activities, but then at the same time, you also have the jealousy thoughts, jealousy mind in your mind. So because of that merit and then the jealousies, they combine these two, then it becomes the cause to reborn into the demigod realms. And after you reborn into demigod realms, also there is no like peaceful place. It says that they always have this jealousies part within the demigod realms itself, and then also they have the war between like demigod realms and lord realms. So they have no peaceful mind at all, even if you reborn as a higher realms.
ini 다 하이 도말 다 디테일한 다 화면에 그냥 파스 하디지안 알아계서는 다 도말들 안하게 알아야 내가 지키고야 되고 아마라다 이게 되게 많아.
So now in the quadrants, now what is now once you reborn to the quadrants, also of course in quadrants everybody may think that the quadrant is very superior and very nice place. Of course, once you reborn to the quadrants, they have kind of the facilities and all the happiness there, but then unfortunately that happiness also not a permanent one. That is impermanent or uncertainty. So as long as you have that merit, then you will be able to enjoy that level. But then eventually you have to, when that all your merit will be exhausted, then you will reborn back again into this suffering of samsara. Then you have to go through all kinds of suffering again. So that is also not a permanent happiness that the Godhead has.
하락의 유리 지당기 여주 아주 여주 도야래 여주 도가 당도들이 뭔가 지금 하락의 주리가 ingredient is.
So the cause of reborn into a quadrants, it says that of course the 10 virtuous activities there you have to accumulate. But on top of that, the cause of reborn into a quadrant is the meditations that we do. Through the meditation, then you will be able to also reborn into a quadrant. And there is another one option that if you have done the immense of merit in a short time, that also could become the cause to be born as a quadrant.
Sange Sange
So, for example, during the Shakyamuni Buddha's times, if you have like immense of pain and devotions or inclinations towards Buddha, and then you have, while you are doing that, if you die, and then because of that karma, then you can be born as a god. So when we talk about the quadrants, it's not just a one person or one type of the quadrants. Within the quadrants, there are different level or type. For example, like desire realms, and then form realms, and then formless realms. There are 3 different realms in the world. So quadrant has these 3 different levels. So into the desire realms, why it is called desire realms is because then in desire realms God, they have like desire as a human being that we have a desire. They have the same desire. So that is why it is called the desire realm God. And then also, desire realm gods has not only the desire, but then at the same time they also have the anger. But then the anger is very much like conditional. If they connect with some condition, then they get angry. Otherwise, they don't get angry as normal. In quadrants, God, they have this quadrants, God, they have this the 2 types of the nectar that they provide. The one type of the nectar is called the long life nectars. So these long life nectars, when they provide to someone, so that nectars, just like when we consume like alcohol or drugs, that will manipulate us, and then that drugs us, and then that led us to do the things that we should not be doing. So similarly, when the governments got give us this long life the nectars, that nectar will manipulate the God, and then that anger will start. For example, when they fight between quadrants and demi-quadrants, God will always give that nectars, and then that create or that make them anger, and then they fight. Now, if you talk about the form realms, God, then they don't have the grosser level of this desire, but they do have a subtle level of. And then form realms, God, they don't have a physical body as we have like flesh and bone. They have only the rainbow bodies there, and through that rainbow body, then we see them as a. So if you divide that form realms God, then we can divide them into like 17 different level or type of the quadrants within the form realms. And now the third one, the formless realms. Now in formless realms, they don't have this physical form at all. they have only the mind that, and then they meditate on that. And within these formless realms, also they have 4 different type of the levels of the God, and how say God. And they have the long life. Long life means the countless of the lifetime they can live into that one level or one forms. But then, no matter how long they live there only until they have that, this marriage. When they are married, will be exhausted, and then they will be reborn as again back to the suffering of samsara. Wandering the suffering of samsara, could be reborn as a human being or could be reborn as animals or maybe only those realms. So in a short, no matter wherever you reborn, right from the human beings, animal realms, and then Holy Ghost realm or hell realms or demigods and god realms, and then within the god that desired realms called form realms and then formless realms. No matter wherever you reborn, you, of course, according to your merit or and then karma, there could be like long life or short life, and then happiness there. But then at the end, when your merit will be exhausted, and then you will be reborn again into this something or samsara, or you have to die. So in a short, how we have to understand is, no matter where you are reborn, you will have to die, you have to suffer. So of course you have to kind of certain level of that, certain degree or certain level of the happiness there, but then that's not the permanent happiness that you have obtained yet.
Sange,
so because of that, when checking into the, after I got enlightenment, when checking into the top, the first teachings, then he taught the Four Noble Truth. And the Four Noble Truth, the first one is, he said, you should understand the meaning of sufferings. You should understand the sufferings. So because of that, he said. So when we talk about the now sufferings, like I said before, if you are reborn into the hell realms, then of course you have to go, you have to suffer of heat and cold. And then if you are reborn into a Holy Ghost realm, then you have to suffer like hungry and thirsty. And if you are reborn into the animal realms, then you have to, go through all kind of this stupidity sufferings. And then not only that, then in animal realms, then as you can see in national animals discoveries, that animal eating, one animals eat another animals, one dominates the other animals, then they have that kind of the unsaved and then sufferings. So these are the suffering that we can directly see on the physical eyes. And you may again think that, some animals are lucky that they've been taken care of in good hands. But then, of course, the person who take care of that, the animals also they have their own purpose. For example, if you have a horse, then horse, of course, you take that for a ride. That purpose you have that horse. And then similarly, if you have like yak and donkey, then you let them to carry the heaviest things on them. And of course, that is they have to go to all kinds of things. And not only that, if you look at having this kind of a fish, and then the chickens, and then the muttons, the sheep, and so many other animals that they nurture them. But then the purpose of them is not for out of compassion and love, but then they have their own purpose. So at the end, they can eat, they can use that. So if you look at like animals who being taken care of, but then at the end they also have to go through the means of the suffering, and then they being slaughtered. And but the one thing that I should mention here is that in Europe country, many people being very nice and gentle to a cat and dog, like pets they carry, and that is something that's very unusual, and I'm very happy to see that. And then my request is that just like you do very good care of cat and dog, if you could look after like fish and then the chickens, and then it's also the sheep, and then generate the compassion towards them would be very good. In Buddhist teachings, it says that we, no matter who they are, whether they are the animals or whether they are the sentient beings or whether they are the human beings, we all are same, because we all want the same happiness, and then we don't want the same sufferings. So we all equal, we all the same. So that kind of the sameness teachings or equality teaching that Buddha has taught. So if you ask why they are reborn as the animals, then the reason is when they was as a human being like you and me, like us, they have done like that negative karma. They have killed them, they have slaughtered them, they have, and then we ate them. So because we ate them now, this is kind of the reverse, that they born as animals and they're suffering, according to that. And now today, because of our merit, we have reborn as a human beings. If you don't really be careful with those kind of activities, and if you do the same that what they have done, then we have to also go through the same again. So we have to be very careful with that. So, in a short, what we have to understand is what is the suffering now. So, if you look at the sufferings in the human being also, right from the once we conceived into a mother womb, then of course we are in a mother womb, but then when mother eats something hot, that really gives us the hot sensations, and we have to go through that suffering. If mother drinks something cold, then that gives us the cold sensations. And then when mothers do kind of the activities, and walking here and there, also we have to feels kind of we have been thrown from the cliff, kind of the sufferings or the experience that we had. And then through that kind of a situation, then we have to live maybe 7 months at least, maybe then 10 months. So we have to live in a mother womb at least 10 months. So that all the sufferings that we have to go through in mother womb. And then now, when the time arrives, and then we have to take a birth in this world, and then of course, mother has to go through immense of suffering, because then she has to give whole energy to take a birth, to give a birth to that baby that she carrying since 9 or 10 months. But then the baby that inside, who is ready to come into this world, also has to go through immense of sufferings to take a birth in this world. Of course, since the baby is so small and the sense is not that much developed, so they don't really feel that they are suffering. But then actually the baby has to go through immense of suffering while the baby take a birth in this world. And then, of course, this is in general the suffering part that I'm saying. But the incident that happened during the baby's give a birth. Sometimes baby, die into a mother womb because not really being able to give enough pressures, or maybe extra pressures. Because of that, then baby die into a mother womb, and that's the biggest tragedy or sufferings for the mothers and the baby itself. And then sometimes when baby give a birth, baby, alive, but then mothers die because of that, pressures or that sufferings that she has to give to, energy that or force that she has to give to that baby. Sometimes, unfortunately, baby and then mothers both die during that, the birth, giving the birth to the baby. And sometimes, mothers alive and then the babies that's dead die right after give a birth. So these are the in general suffering that we have been seeing in the many places, especially into the now these days in the hospitals and many places. And then, if you are lucky enough to have baby and mothers both as good shape, then now while you give baby to nurture, taking care of the baby, sometimes because of this five elements go upside down and baby got sick, then now of course the baby has to experience that suffering, and then she or he has to go through. But then at the same time, more than that, the parents who give birth to the baby has to experience the more suffering in that baby, because then when my child is like in a suffering, then I worried for that the child. Both parents, like both fathers and mothers, they worried for that child, and now they try to save that baby, and they try to look for the like idea or technique or different methods to take care of that baby and to recover that baby. So if we talk about the Nepal context, then there's the like culture that we go to Lama to like priest to bless for the babies to get well soon. And then it could be like different like cultures in different places, but then we do have to adopt all kind of the options, all kind of the techniques just to take care of that baby. And this kind of all is the sufferings that we nakedly see that. So now, having this all kind of situations that you face in that kind of situation, and now you live your life and you nurture the child that you have. And now when they becomes like young and then elders and then adults, and then now they have their own freedoms. Some of them become very good like son, good children, and then they look after their parents, they understand their parents' kindness, and then their sacrifice, and then now they look after their parents. But then most of the kids these days, they're spoiling, and then they, instead of helping and taking care of their parents, they give them problems and troubles to their parents these days, and these are also the sufferings. And then, of course, we're in the Asia, where in like India and Nepal, we have our own tradition or culture that when the boy becomes like matures and then adults, then now they get married, and then they bring to the home. But then once they have their new their family member at their home, and then all the property that the mothers and the parents they have, they hand over to their sons, so then they can take care of, and then they take that legacy or whatever that they have. But then after doing that, then what they do is they kick out their parents from their home. And then this situation or this kind of incident is not one or two. Then it's every day they're going these days here in Nepal. But then I don't know about your countries, how they treat your parents. And then also there is another one kind of tradition that we have here. Not every family, but not every community, but in some of the communities still they follow that. That when if I have one girl, the child who is now ready to get married, who are adult. Now when they have to hand over to some like guy who they are ready to get married, but then now the husband or the son-in-law, they demand now, okay, I'm ready to marry with your daughters, but then I need some things. I need support from your families. Otherwise, I'm not going to do that. So then now, since the father and mothers want to really have my daughter's good life, then they're ready to do that. But then at the beginning time, they are very good families. But then later on, again, if the son-in-law, they want something, they again start torturing to their wife, basically their daughters, and then they try to torture, beating, and things, and they kick out their from their homes, and then again their parents gives whatever their demand is, and then again their families union again. So this kind of situations go upside down all the time. So if we look at even in the human realms, human life, of course, in general, their husband and wife, they're good shape, but then internally, they're always facing the sufferings. So in human life also, there's no such particular or such a place it says that, okay, this is the happy place. But yeah, from the government side, they have this constitutions saying that we are equal, male and female are equal, we are same. But then in implementations, they don't have that ones. So, for example, and another suffering is that, for example, if you are a businessman, then of course you do business to the profit, and then you always think of the profit. But then when you do, you don't always get the profit. Sometimes you lost. That is also sufferings. And then similarly, sometimes we feel that, I have a very good company or very good friends that with me, and may these friends never be separate from me. But then, unfortunately, sooner or later we have to separate from their friends. And then sometimes there will be like the enemy, our enemy, then we think, may I never face this enemy at all. And then, but unfortunately, sometimes the situations comes where we have to meet and we have to live together. And then also there are some people who just have enough to live, enough to eat just for live. And then some of them, they try to accumulate or try to get the things that they don't have. And then for that, they do business, they do so many other activities, and during that time, they lost their life also. And then also there are so many people who doesn't get enough opportunity to get their educations. And then some of them, they get enough educations, but then sometimes they don't, the things doesn't go according to their wish. And then they go into like depression, stress, and then depressions. And because of the depressions, then they do so many others, stupid things.
하드께서는 체력을 해야 되니까 그런 마시기 유머로 가고 하고 그런 가와이와 내가 딱딱 보고 있어. 너무 기분인데 나 그런 시도를 가와이와 내가 구조를 하고 나 그런 생각 정말 좋은 거를 했어. 우리 하도 그래서 또 한번 가지고.
And according to that, then now again, if we talk about the God realms, then of course God realms has that kind of all facilities and then the pleasure and everything, the happiness. But then that happiness, not the permanent happiness, sooner or later, and then that happiness will be exhausted, and then they have to, die again and return to the heavens, the lower realms. And now, of course, the God realms has the clear ones to see everything, but then because of that, now before he died, before 7 days, and then he can see now my time in God realm is now exhausted or finished. Now I have to die. After 7 days, I will die. And now, if I die, where I will be reborn, then he can see through his clear points that I will be reborn as an animal realms or maybe ghost realms.
이거는 산적이 도와를 가와이나야 야야 동안을 하는데 이거 동안도 벌써 자시 뭐 이 동안에 무슨
So in a short, what I'm trying to say here is that no matter where you will be born, right from the God realms to the hell realms and the human realms, this is like chakra of sufferings. So you are in a chakra of suffering. You have not been free from that yet. So first of all, that is why Buddha said, first of all, we should understand or know what suffering is. So can you guys understanding what I'm saying? At this kind of teachings, people sleep very nicely. So this is the right time to sleep actually.
Yeah, you have to time. I say, I don't know,
So I can understand even if you sleep because you have come through a long way, and then like the timing from your country to here is not the same. And then I'm sure that during this travel or this journey, I'm sure you have like exhausted. And then so this sometimes even I experience the same things. So I understand that, but then be careful. Sometimes you lose your thought. So if you want like 5 to 10 minutes of break, if you want.